Hi everyone, my name is Kanae Nelson, and today I will be looking at the urgent call to save endangered life. So imagine a forest where there's no birds chirping and no crickets, nothing, silent. Now imagine a river that was once filled with fish, frogs, and turtles just completely empty. So according to the World Wildlife Fund's 2022 Living Planet report, freshwater species have declined by 83% since the 1970s. This comes from the World Wildlife Fund's 2023 Living Planet report, which was from 2022. So, all endangered species must be protected because they are essential to maintaining ecological balance. The purpose of my speech today is to persuade you all that protecting all endangered species, including the ones that are taken for granted, is vital for the well-being of humans. So think of an animal that's really small. Think of a crayfish. They're often taken for granted because most people don't really think they do anything, but they help aerate our soils and they're good indicators of water quality. So crayfish are going extinct, particularly in North America, where approximately 48% of species are threatened and going extinct at rapid rates. This comes from Barnett's, Adams, Oates, and Garrick's article, Crayfish Populations Genetically Fragmented in Streams Impounded for 36 to 140 Years. So I specifically did an internship with Dr. Barnett over the summer, and we did look at crayfish. We did the genetics work to look at how these endangered species are being affected. So why is this important? Because species are disappearing at an alarming rate, 1,000 times the natural extinction rate, because human activity is helping these species go extinct. So again, like habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change. And this comes from the National Geographic's 2022 article, Why We Should Care About Extinction. So when a species goes extinct, it causes a domino effect across the food chain. So let's take bees, for instance. Without bees, without these essential pollinators, we wouldn't have any fresh produce in our grocery stores. So today we will explore why this matters, how we can fix it, and what we can do if we don't. What will happen if we don't? So government should expand the protected areas, enforce anti-poaching laws, invest in sustainable land use. We also need the help of the public to help fund education for wildlife programs and to help reduce pollution. What can we do to handle this? Well, what we need to handle this. So imagine a world where we fail to protect these endangered species, and the consequences wouldn't just affect the animals, it would affect us. So without key species, the ecosystem falls apart and the health vanishes. So if crayfish vanish, our entire freshwater ecosystems would fall apart because these creatures help eat decaying matter and clean our waterways. So, but this damage would just stay in the wild, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't. It would affect our food security. So species like bees help pollinate our food again. And without these pollinators, again, there's no food for us. So species like bees are responsible for pollinating more than 75% of the crops we consume. This comes from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States 2018 article, Why Bees Matter. So again, bees help with food production. And if this doesn't hit close to home yet, consider this. Our cultural resources would diminish. So ecotourism, the fishing industry, and medicine all rely on biodiversity in these water ecosystems and just in general. So without these species, we couldn't do anything. So think of elephants. They're considered a keystone species. So as they move through the wild, they knock down trees and spread seeds. Without this, no seeds. So once we lose animals, we lose a part of ourselves. So what can we do? We can support laws about endangered species, reduce the use of products linked to deforestation, donate and volunteer with conservation efforts, and respect our ecosystems. So again, today I brought in my little Smokey Bear because he says only you can prevent forest fires. And then forest fires are a form of pollution. I also brought in my poster, which shows a bunch of the different wildlife that we have out here. But again, it has Smokey Bear on it. And it says at the top, be careful with our future. If we're not careful, then a lot of the things are going to fall apart that we rely on. A lot of our animals won't be here. So what we've learned, today we've looked at the endangered species from crayfish to elephants and keeping biodiversity. So we explored these matters and why they matter. And if we don't stand up for the voiceless, we'll be blind. We're turning a blind eye. And the silent can't speak up, but they genuinely will.